Good evening, everyone. I'm totally off centre. Let's sort that out a little bit, shall we? There we go. Just adjust things while we're here. So, welcome to episode 109 of Malt and Magic, the Forgotten Kingdom of Nialin. If you're joining us for the first time, this is our first campaign of D&D, of which we are pretty much near the end. Near enough. We're getting there anyway, at least. So, welcome. Thank you for joining us. As always, before we get into it, let's go through our usual shout-outs and thank yous. So a huge shout-out and thank you to Incarnate, Albo Rodeo and Dungeon Alchemist for all things mapping and virtual tabletop. You will have seen them over the last few weeks, especially, obviously, last week, the last couple of weeks, in terms of Dungeon Alchemist and playing around with their beta for some more HD maps, we will call them. And they were pretty cool, so we had fun with that. Of course, a big thank you to D&D Beyond for all the tools that it provides, and the developers there, character creations, character tokens, no, not even character tokens, character creations, character sheets, and all the various other bits that go on with D&D Beyond. Massive tool, major tool, lots of updates going on there as well. Hopefully people have seen sort of the one D&D updates that are coming through. I'm still on the fence with most of them, but we won't get into that right now. Big shout out to Hero Forge for all of our character visuals. That includes tokens, just general character creation, including some of the minis we've got as well. And then, of course, the DM's tools in the background. So, Kassoon, 5e Magic Shop, 2 Minutes Tools, Thief Guild, which are all the sort of DM's tools I use in the background here or there. And then the musical tracks that you can hear in the background now, and you will hear throughout the episode today, are thanks to Tabletop Audio. Any sound effects you might hear, including some musical tracks as well actually, are courtesy of Battle Bards. And if you'd like to get some sound effects in your own games or your own podcasts or whatever, then please go and check out Battle Bards and use the code you see on screen right now, Malt Magic, when you register. Get yourself some nice cheeky discounts. Of course, you can see all our social media links at the bottom there where you can go check us out and all our updates. Some things have been very quiet, like TikTok and stuff like that, but we will get there. Work's been a bit manic, I think, for everyone. Now we are definitely out of any pandemic in the UK, supposedly. But yes, things are getting much busier, so we are doing our very best to keep people updated and keep content fresh. But the other thing we are obviously working on is Discord as well. As soon as Samal returns from his work and other life stuff that he's got to do, because he's not with us again this evening, him and I will definitely get on that, and pretty much I think we're almost there, ready to release it now, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. Of course, we've got the social media channels. YouTube's on there as well for you to go catch all the past episodes if you want to go catch up or rewatch, or go check out our sort of campaign recap of the beginning and mid-campaign recap that we did around episode 62 or 61 or something like that. I mean, go find that on Malt Magic, and all of our episodes are available on podcast as well, so go check them out on your podcast platform of choice. And if you can leave a rating, a review, stars, whatever you can do on your podcast platform, please do. Every little helps. Just bump us up those TTRPG charts, and yes, help spread the word so we can get more viewers, more followers, more subscribers, which ultimately means more things like giveaways that we can do. Not that we're begging, we're just glad you're here watching, to be honest. Or listening, if you're listening on the podcast, of course. So, I think that's it for my updates. I don't see any other announcements flashing up on my screen, so I think we're all good. In which case, my usual warnings do apply. There will most certainly be adult language, most definitely be adult humour. I will sort my camera angle out in just a second, but let's roll.
that better?
Yeah,
No.
funny. Funny. Funny.
Just make you feel better.
Real fucking funny. I can do that too.
Hello, everybody.
Not that we're a petty group or anything like that.
Not much. Not much. Rocks fall, everybody dies. There we go.
That's not far off what's going to happen tonight. If I stub my toe, I'm going to be dead.
Trip down the stairs, that's it, end of Andy. These cameras still doing my head in. Sit still.
Nah, boy.
There we go. Cool. So yes, Samara's obviously not with us, but we will go through the lineup. And I will get my camera angle on point in a second. So yes, quickly run down the lineup and I'll get my head in gear. So I am Matt, I play the Dungeon Master. I play the Dungeon Master, I am the Dungeon Master, and I also play the psychic character of Bothrid. Head needs to switch on tonight.
I am Bothrid and I play the Dungeon Master.
And I am Danny, who plays King Andrew Vesemir, and my goal for tonight is to just be alive by the time we finish. I'll also be fumbling through Kirik's character sheet.
Just very good
Hoping for the
point.
best.
I'm Dave. I play Dargon the Goliath Fighter Warlock, fumbling along through Kirik's character sheet along with Danny.
I'm glad you said fumbling along with his character sheet and not just fumbling with Kirik, to be honest.
We know he wouldn't like that.
He wouldn't let me.
You've tried.
Yes, fair one. Okay, there we go. I think we've got right position for camera now. So last week was obviously the culmination of a few weeks of planning and a few weeks of action, as well as we dealt with the aftermath of defeating Bel, some demon or devil lord, I should say. You still not fully identified who Bel is or who Bel was, having sent them back to their fiery plane of existence. But Bel had summoned the primordial spirit, the elemental spirit, if you like, of the Imix, and not even the spirit, the full manifestation of that elemental power. And you fought it, and you destroyed it. And there was an almighty fiery explosion as the soul of this creature just died and knocked everybody down a fair peg. Hence the lot of red at the bottom of the screen there, apart from Kirik, who's just sitting pretty. Although I think Kirik's about 5 points off being bloodied.
Yeah, he's not far off, is he?
No, definitely not. So, as soon as we'd sort of dealt that final blow, the tattoos that you all had reacted. The spirits that you'd so believed you'd tamed, at least, reacted to the death of their brother. Kirik, Dargon managed to just about hold on enough to the control over their spirits, but Ander, in a moment of sheer desperation, just couldn't, and so the wind spirits, the elemental force of air and all things breeze, disappeared from him and disappeared into the sky and was not seen or heard from since. Ander has since lost his tattoo, and then we dealt with the aftermath. So as you then ran, or Dargon ran out to the battlements and the ramparts and began to sort of wave the flag and tried to signal that the battle was won, there was then a brief as Lena and Micaiah both teleported up towards you with Deimos. And Lena pretty much straight into the throne room, assumes the throne, and there is a message that then goes out across Deluin to say the fight is over, the battle is won, Erendriel is dead. The villagers, the townsfolk, the city folk, if you like, have all been shut up, hidden away. You've not seen any of them. You've seen a lot of the vanguard, if you like, the guard of Deluin. And you saw a lot of devils. And there are still skirmishes, if you like, where smaller and lesser devils are still fighting against the combined might now of the vanguard and the defenders of River's End, having seen this common enemy. But ultimately the battle is is subsiding, and people are taking stock, and those that still choose to resist, not believing this word, are rounded up and sort of held under guard, weapons taken off them, armour taken off them, and just held in this market square in the centre of the city. You all find yourselves currently back in the throne room. Everybody's sat, taking a well-deserved breather. Deimos himself is perfectly fine, but is taking some very, very big breaths and just looks tired. Almost like he's expended as much energy as he physically could just to do what he needed to do. Lena has got a few cuts and scratches here. Micaiah is the one that seems to have come off the worst. There are a few sort of arrow wounds that she's picked up, but she's just sort of gently dabbing at them with various medical salves and healing potions and stuff like that. Generally, though, everyone is okay. As you're checking in with Lena, just after a sort of a brief conversation, if you like, you realise that, or you come to understand that 38% of the defending forces, or the attacking forces, were killed during the assault. So about, 36 out of the 200? No. 76. I can't do maths. I'm going to give up.
We'll stick at that.
38%. 38% of 200 is what? 76? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my wardens, what are we doing?
Hyperventilating, mostly.
That's about right. And you
looking physically fucked. I will expend my energy, I suppose, just thanking everyone for their efforts and for the sacrifice.
It's just the main people in the room at the moment, yeah?
It's just the leaders, if you like.
Yeah.
There are a number of defenders, but they are dressed slightly different, and you could recognise these as almost a royal guard, if you want to call it that. So they've got slight plumage to their helmets, and more of a sort of a shoulder cloak, if you like. Thank you, JK, for the subscription.
Thank you all. Good evening. Good to see you in chat.
Indeed, good evening. Great to see you. So yes, there's probably about 6 of these royal guard, if you like, but they are off to the sides, keeping themselves away, but in a position where, should anything happen, they can reach Lena and Micaiah to defend her, or them, rather. So yes, but other than that, it's yourselves, Lena, Micaiah, Deimos, Bothrid, Kirik.
Is the city under our control now? Under your control?
I believe so, yes. No, not my control, our control. After all, we made a pact, you and I, and I will be your regent in the area, I suppose, your warden. But yes, the city is ours. We have a victory.
That's good. For a moment there, we didn't think it was on our end. I'll admit.
This feels like the first step in saving Nialin. What we've achieved here today.
Yeah. Yeah. And how are you feeling after that thing left?
It's weird because we weren't bonded for very long. It does feel like something is missing, and my worry is. Oh.
What thing?
As we freed all of the sources from their captive orbs, they chose to fuse with us and grant us their power. So I had the air elemental, Dargon's got the earth, Kirik's got the water. And we just defeated the fire elemental, thinking that would also free it from the clutches of Asmodeus. Turned out it wasn't an avatar, it was the actual fire elemental. When we killed it, they all got a bit upset, and mine left my body. I'll just let that sink in for a minute. It's a lot to process.
Yes, it is. 4 elementals, which you call sources.
Yeah.
And they were where when you found them? Obviously the fire one was here, we'll ignore that for a second. But
yeah, it wasn't always here though.
No, the air elemental was Splinter, the bloody hell, Shiverspire. The water elemental was at the bottom of Esamir. And the earth elemental was Dargon for a bonus point. I can't remember.
Mantineer. Under Mantineer, I think.
No, Doggone, it was
No,
in the Feywild.
It was in Feywild, and it was under that pyramid.
Yeah. We just need Avatar, the last Airbender, and then we collected the also. We just needed Aang, and then it was sorted with me.
To catch you up, we killed Bell first, but he'd released this thing. We thought it was, like Ander said, an avatar, and we said, I even said to it, the only way we know to free you is to fight you. Unfortunately, I think he was the real thing, and it was still being controlled by his lordship.
That's 4 very powerful creatures under 4 very powerful thrones of Nialin.
Yeah, well, 3 now, I'm afraid.
Well, yeah, and we've got the added worry of the air elemental is on the loose and mad at us. So that might become a future enemy.
And gained another.
Yeah. You don't think... we may already know this. Are they connected to the Wish, Ander? Or are they powering the Wish?
No, the Wish is, I suppose, bonded to my bloodline. We thought we needed to collect all of the sources to free Nialin. But I think Kirik's observation a minute ago, that they were more of a power play or a bargaining chip against Asmodeus because he wanted them, so we should have had them, rather than
This makes sense now.
free to fight Asmodeus.
Do enlighten us.
The legends, and I'm going to close that out because that was very loud in my ear. Apps pinging in the background.
Says Lena into her bag of holding.
Yeah, just going to close this up again. Well, the legends of Nialin, the reason it was removed, there was wars before your ancestor Ander, before Geth, I think you said it was, before he unified the land by controlling, or not controlling, but taming the warring factions. So there was sort of the power of the gods. Well, I suppose you could say the power of the good gods, the evil gods, the power of the Fae, all warring over the magic in this land. And now you mention around the sources, as you called them, elementals. They are raw power, and well, from what I understand of the nature of that raw magic, it is from elemental creatures originally. They are the ones that fueled creation, and to destroy one, I'm not sure how that's going to manage the balance of things.
Yeah, So I think we've all established we did a bad thing, but
No, it's no. I'm not saying that, Ander. It's you. It was that or die, right?
yeah,
Which would be
quite
no good
possibly.
for anyone. So there's greater and lesser evils in these sort of things. Yes, you've killed this thing and potentially gained an enemy, but
I mean,
you've also weakened the very thing that started these wars, right?
maybe.
yeah. Biggest concern is we took one away from Asmodeus, and now he just recruits another.
Well, we're assuming he has the power to recruit the other, but we don't
Wow.
know.
I don't know how convincing Asmodeus is, but again, if legend and history are true, then he is more silver-tongued than you are, Ander.
My hope was we'd be able to say that these other two that we didn't lose, we're at least far from this land or something, but maybe we can't. Maybe we do need to keep them by if we can. I know we didn't really have a choice.
Do you still feel them struggling within you, or do you think they've re-accepted the bond, shall we say?
Have they calmed down yet?
Make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
I shouldn't have asked.
No, that's a good one.
It was coming anyway, is all I can say.
18.
18. There is almost like a vibration underneath your skin. It's dull, it's faint, but there is a distinct unease about your being, if you like. And you attribute that to almost like the vibration you get before an earthquake.
No, and that's why I said kind of feel like I wish we could release him, but only if we knew that Asmodeus couldn't in any way get to him.
Well, do you think if you're going to be constantly battling to keep them, are you really going to be able to use it to our advantage? Do you think it might be worth trying to bargain with them, and that if you willingly release them both in exchange for them not coming back on us, so they can go be with their brother and mourn and grieve, but then have a truce where we are not enemies of each other?
I'd prefer that over this, I think, now. And yeah, we didn't know what we were doing. So I think we try and tell them that, and we try and... I want to let him go.
Definitely speak with him first, just in case.
Yeah.
Well,
No, as I
see if you can
said,
get a read on whether as soon as you release him, he doesn't squish you.
Yeah, no, the bargain is the most crucial bit. But Kirik, you're good at that meditation shit. Do you think we can both sit and commune?
Well, maybe the commune is usually when I'm trying to speak to her, but
Yeah, you know the method's better than me.
I think it's maybe more about just trying to reach out, open the gate.
I think it'd be how
I'm
you
willing
speak
to try if you wish me to go first.
I'll do it. I'll do it first.
It'd be similar to how you speak to Ray, I suppose, or Timiel, or
Yeah,
just more internal.
okay. Do we? I think we all agree on this, yeah. Certainly don't want them as an enemy.
Well, let's ask the council, and I'll see what Lena and Deimos reckon to the plan.
Well, fuck. Should we shut the doors at least?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I don't think doors are going to stop anything, but okay. Makes you feel better. We can hold hands as well.
Stop any fuckers interrupting you lot, wouldn't it?
Well, true.
Fucking hell. You boys doing stir some shit.
Lena, you're usually one of the wisest of them all. What do you say?
I am... Well, I don't know. This is... bigger than anything I think any of us had to deal with. I mean, apart from the god that sits miles away. But we're talking about primordial forces. If this is what you think is best, then I am going to take your lead, as this is not something I've ever had to deal with personally.
Lessening the forces in which your ancestors fought over, I think is the right thing to do.
Yeah. Or if they get like the Dagon,
temptation.
I think it might be if they... Go on.
No, carry on, Ander.
I was just going to say, if we're worried about releasing them, maybe they would be happy to be transferred to what they would see as a more worthy host. At which point, if we had a volunteer, they might want to transfer to Lena or Micaiah or Deimos or one of the... anybody really, a worthy warrior.
That is a very tempting power, Ander.
Well, you and Micaiah are probably one of the only two people I would trust with that. And let's be honest, nobody's going to fuck with the Twin Cities if you've got that in your back pocket.
Maybe an insight check, please.
Oh, she got a bloody...
She's got a bit of Gollum going on.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. She's going to bloody end up doing a mutiny. Knock me off my throne. Oh, get advantage on insight. Let me do that again. No, 21's my best.
We said shut that door.
One of the vanguards just like, sorry, side door.
Yeah. How much my cat? You're probably going for a poo in a minute.
One of the vanguards takes the dump in the corridor.
Yeah.
Cat just, I've just got this picture of a cat walking into Danny's office, just like, evening.
He is. He's very blazing. He's kind of like Puss in Boots, but without the hat.
Oh, so the boots then.
Yeah, he's got boots.
So with the 21, it's almost like that Galadriel moment, if we want to use a Lord of the Rings reference rather than Gollum, where you can see the promise of power. She doesn't say anything, but you can see it flash across her face, and as she looks towards Micaiah, you can almost see the both of them think, the things we could do. And then Lena's going to look around her at the damage, the carnage in this room, the blood, your blood, which is still splattered all over this room, really. No, Ander, no, I don't think so. I think you best let these things that are, well, raw power, from what I can tell, let them decide. And if you freed them, then they were already imprisoned, and you are now not imprisoning them again by holding them in your bodies. Maybe freeing them.
It was a willing alliance, I suppose, until now.
Maybe that's the point. Maybe they just need to go and find their own path now. And should they choose the path of destruction, well then,
so be it.
It's one more thing that the forces of Nialin will have to deal with, I guess.
If they choose violence, we'll be at campaign 2 before we know it.
Sorry, what is this campaign?
Breaking the fourth
Is
wall.
sorry, another campaign? Have we got another war campaign?
We've got many quests. Yeah. I see my role in campaign 2 being more of a cameo, post-credit scene more than a main character.
Walks into a bar. We need you on the team.
So I'm just going fuck off.
Yeah. Excellent. Well then.
Right. I'm going to go try and commute. If I fall asleep, poke me in the head.
More likely to die than fall asleep, the way you're looking.
Yeah, you look like roses too. Thank you. Ow.
Okay.
If we're in the throne room, one or a better word, wherever it is. It's the ground floor. Is that right?
Yep.
And it wasn't where we went to go under to find the rest of the prophecy. As in, I'm not aware of there being an underneath.
If you remember rightly, when you went to get the prophecy, that was through some form of jail cell. There was a grate on the floor.
And I'll also, during the ethereal plane, would have seen the presumed layout of this room if there was anywhere underneath.
You would have seen down. There is. Yeah, I'll just say there is an underground to this room, but it's not where the prophecy was.
Yeah.
Almost looks like there's maybe some form of escape tunnel or something out of here.
Cool. I will. In my head, everyone is standing sort of roughly in the middle of the room and not near the throne. So I would say that I'd go back.
Well, Lena's
towards...
sat on the throne currently.
Ah, true. Yeah, so I suppose we are gathered around that one. So I'll move away then to, let's say, centrish of the room, and I'll just sit down. Probably say the dog and probably just doesn't really, it's not that very gentle, just legs fall out from underneath him.
Sound of rocks.
Yeah. Gets into a meditation position, pulls out the sword, lays it over his legs. Shield on top of that. Closes his eyes and tries to connect with the force inside.
Something inside so strong.
In this moment, as your eyes close, you see this almost dome of plants begin to grow up around you. And Lena's hand on the floor. I think he'd prefer some privacy, and also if this thing breaks out, at least we've got some warning. Doggone, I'm going to ask you to make me a strength-based insight check. So if you have proficiency in insight, add that on top, but otherwise it's going to be a d20 plus your strength modifier.
Nice. 23.
You
Grog dice for you.
ultimately search yourself. And you feel that vibration again. And you focus in on that. And there's a moment when my phone vibrates on the table continuously. Apologies for anybody that can hear that.
It's definitely
there's a moment.
Don't lie.
There's a moment where you catch on to that vibration. And
well done. Made it canon.
and grab it mentally. Form a mental connection and just try to understand that vibration. And then you feel the raw power that resides within you, just behind a wall or something. And then everything goes black. There is this dull green light that overtakes your senses. And then you see rocky terrain in a cave type structure, the only light being this single, like, oculus, if you like, hole above you. Just lets this light in. And you see a cluster of rocks in front of you. What do you do?
Lights above me, cluster of rocks beneath.
In front.
In front of me.
So you're in a cave, light shining down, cluster of rocks.
The light shining down is something like an area I could walk into.
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk into it.
Okay. As you walk into the light, you feel a warmth. And it's a familiar warmth. That warmth of the sun. That power that you associate with Palin.
Are you there?
Who are you asking?
The source.
Make me a perception check, please.
Advantage. Nice. 24. And with that, the top, smaller, most rocks begin to vibrate slightly and shuffle around. You said we were naive, and you were right. But I'm here to seek a truce and to give you what you want. Will you commune?
Make me a persuasion check, please.
$19.
That vibration turns into a tremor. And you just hear rocks begin to slide and just... The cave itself seems to almost grow. And that light just raises higher and becomes smaller, dimmer, weaker. As those rocks begin to build up and a humanoid-like form just begins to form, gargantuan, above you. As this walking island almost looms above you.
Free me.
I will. We did not mean to destroy your brethren. And we do wish you your freedom. You know of the force we fight against, and you know of which the evil he put your brethren. I come here now and commune to ask a favour I do not feel we have the right to ask, but that is for you to not be ruled by him. Go with your remaining brethren. Be free. It is our desire for your freedom to be yours, and no one else's. We've only wanted the whole of this for Nialin, and for your freedom as well. Our enemy wants to use and control you, no matter how you feel. And the moment that we knew that we weren't working with you, and we had inadvertently worked against you and one of your brethren, you can see we don't wish to hold you as prisoner. Will you go your own way?
There is the sound of what sounds like rocks smashing together. And it's in that moment you realise that this creature, whatever it is laughing. You're going to have to forgive my phone in the background. Just as a caveat, my favourite football team are playing tonight. I'm not watching it, but there's goals going in, and my father is messaging me. So I'm just going to ignore that.
It's either a goal, and then your dad texting, yeah, you're a goal, and your dad going, fuck.
Exactly right. So that sound of rocks smashing together, it forms laughter, and then you just hear this.
We are not controlled by those divine foul creatures. We bound ourselves to those who would fight against them. We are creation. No god will control us. Free me, and I will go. I will exert my own will.
Was Asmodeus not controlling your brethren then?
We do not enter lightly into contracts with gods.
Well, you may know better, but it looked very much like they were being controlled via Osmosis. You better be careful you don't fall into the same trap.
Do not speak to me like I am mere dirt and new soil. I am the ancient rock, the core of this very land. Show some respect.
Then go. Stand your ground against him. Be free.
This is your fight. Live, die. My creation will claim you either way.
And in that moment, as you say, I will be glad of it. I need you to make me a strength saving throw, please.
I don't know whether I want to fail or win this. That is brilliant. That is on top of my Doritos. I'm going to re-roll that. That's a natural 20. My good lord, this grog dice is brilliant.
And go for Doritos.
Oh, mate.
Your eyes flash open, and there is a searing pain in your arm as you see that tattoo, and you can see rocks almost falling out of your arm, and there's a moment where you can feel the tendons, the muscles, the bones begin to rip, tear and pop as you then clench your fist, and somehow this force, this being erupts from your arm, but your arm remains intact.
Oh,
Oh,
I
that
nearly
was a
lost my
check to
arm.
not be.
I nearly
Jesus.
lost my arm. Damn.
Everybody else in the room watches as this swirl of dust, rock, and earth forms, and then there is just a crack that forms in the centre of the throne room. Columns fall, bits of the ceiling fall down, and Dargon, you scrabble back, and everybody else sort of shrinks back away as a hole forms, and the earth just shifts. There is an earthquake that rips through Deluin. Buildings damaged, walls toppled. But you feel that earthquake dissipate, almost as if the force, whatever force it was, travels away. For anybody that's on the ramparts, looking as they fight to hold on and stay stood up, they look out to the oceans and just see this ripple disappear into the distance.
Have I still got that green dome around me?
No, that was almost in your mind's eye. Oh, sorry, the plant dome. That's gone.
Yeah.
Destroyed as whatever burst out of you, just splintered plants everywhere. And you can see Deimos is there, almost a spell prepared. Lena and Micaiah have been bundled across to a corner of a room by a number of the Royal Guard. And Kirik and Bothrid are just sort of stood there at the edge of this hole. Bothrid has got a hand on his javelin. Good doggone.
I get up and get my other hand, place it on my forearm, dump a bit of healing light in it, glow from between my fingers. Yeah, okay. How the hell we ever worked with him before, I don't know. But it's best we let him go. It's not right. I've got to admit though, thought he was going to rip my arm off when he left. They left.
Let's just be glad they didn't. No use you being harmless.
Yeah. Big fella like me.
I
being
mean,
harmless.
considering what he could have done, he seemed to have left in an orderly fashion.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, let's hope he doesn't come back and wreak vengeance. But I have a feeling they do only work with people they want to, and they wanted to work with us to take Asmodeus down. So I hope that they don't. I hope they disappear. We can only hope. But I do fear that even they don't understand the silver tongue of the devil.
I was just going to say, if they only work with people they want to, does that mean the fire elemental chose to work with Asmodeus?
He may be, I suppose.
I was convinced, says Kirik.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my thought, you know.
You said he tried to manipulate you in dreams, right?
Yeah.
True.
So I may have upset him at the end when I said he's got to, they've got to be careful, but I don't know they know the power that Asmodeus has over bending your will and convincing. So, right or wrong, it's done. and I feel better for it. Well, my arm doesn't, but, you know.
Maybe we should brace ourselves for when you release yours, Kirik, in case it... I don't know, there's a flood, a tidal wave.
I'm going to go outside, I think.
Yeah, after mine, maybe it's a good idea.
Yeah. Or
Maybe
do it up in the air on Peggy.
I was going to say...
Don't fancy dropping water from the air?
Deluin does have a port. Shall we go to the port, all of us?
That's a good idea.
I'm not leaving you,
I agree.
Kirik. I think this needs to be done now. Lena, are you going to stay here in the throne room?
Oh, I suppose somebody's got to start cleaning this mess up.
Yeah, someone else left
just
this like
grin
this
at you.
before we came in.
Of course, Dagon, of course.
Yeah,
This is just the aftermath of the battle. We all know these things happen.
Yeah, I will help you tidy up with a brush later, but for now.
That's fine. You there. Organise party, clean this rubble up. At least make it safe for people to come in here. While you're doing this, boys, I will go deal with whatever prisoners and ill-illusioned folk we have, just to make it clear what is going on. It's a shame you didn't take Belle's head, really. That would have made things much, much easier.
If you need something to convince the crowd, just I can help you out after we've dealt with this.
Okay.
It was my intention to bring
you.
his head, but unfortunately when it burst into ash, I couldn't really do much.
Yes, I imagine that was something of a problem. Listen, I'll head to the market square where they're being kept, from what I understand. Hopefully we can avoid any more bloodshed today, at least. And then everybody can get some well-earned rest. And then we can decide whatever the hell we do next. Kirik, be safe, be careful, and just deal with whatever this is.
The quite literal passing of a titan, I believe.
Yes, I suppose one could say that.
We will...
That does make sense now, the Titanic epoch. She mutters to herself something.
You will know when it's happened, and we'll see you after.
Very well. On your leave, then, I guess. Have you not gone and got these people to clean this? Come on, go! Fuck's sake.
After you, Kirik.
Sure.
We will head out.
Cool. So you head out, and from where you are, you've got a choice. You can either exit the city, where there is now a sizable hole in the wall from an earthquake, or you can go through the city and head out towards the port.
I'd say let's stay inside the city walls, in essence, and stay in a guarded position, but get near the water for what will inevitably be an easy, rapid escape.
Yes, well, the port, I guess, then. Time to bring up my map of Deluin. I really should have had out, I guess. Do. Music's been on point tonight, Dave. Well done.
Hang on. I'm mixing as quickly as I can.
Really good, man. Really good.
I even at one point ended up on tabletop audio, listened to something, downloaded it, got it into the system, and then started playing it. So,
all right, show off.
Tabletop audio, folks.
Seriously, it's brilliant. And new stuff just came out. Well, since last week anyway, and I just got one. I was like, oh, that's amazing.
Cool. So you make your way out of the keep through the keep walls, and you can now start to see the aftermath of the battle, and you can start to see some of the city folk are sort of coming out of houses that have been boarded up and barricaded, rather quickly and rather hurriedly and rather haphazardly, if anything. And people sort of see you walking through, and as they see you walk through, sort of people duck behind windows and doors as soldiers move from building to building, sort of explaining what's going on and calming people down. You see there are a number of healers around, some of the rangers, and you sort of walk down one of the main avenues, which is cracked as well. The concrete floor sort of cracked in numerous places. You sort of have to maneuver around these. There are buildings that have crumbled worse than they were before. And you bend round on this, or you follow this main avenue round. You see that market square in the centre and the great tree in the middle of Deluin. And past that, a temple. And beyond that, the docks. And you sort of walk all the way past all of this. The docks themselves, there's a quay which pretty much goes from end to end along the coastline in between the city walls. It's a stone quay, and there's a number of jetties and piers that sort of jut out, and there's this main shipyard building. A long, disused, partially built ship in there. It's been a long time since anyone really built ships to go from this port to go anywhere.
May I, interject that I
down.
believe that Kirik would presumably slow down and probably just stare at the temple, if I believe I know it.
Probably.
As we're walking down there.
Isn't Deluin the place that had the smushed up? It's the only place without a Raven Queen one, isn't it? Because he wanted to build one here.
But then found that there's one here. Just destroyed to a degree. So yeah. Carry on.
Yeah. So in fact, make me an investigation check as Kirik, then, please.
Ooh.
Is he just going to cast mending like hundreds and hundreds of times?
I believe he probably has that ability to be able to create a temple. I can't remember what that's called.
He has, yeah.
He's probably got that in
he
his
was going to do it in.
But,
he was going to do it in Deluin, wasn't he?
What check was that? And I have no idea. I need to bring his sheet.
He's got +0 on
check
investigation.
for Kirik, but he
+0.
does have advantage.
He does have advantage. Okay, I shall roll again. No, that's better. 15.
He pulls out a notebook, and you've seen he's used this notebook every now and again. There's a raven's feather quill sort of looped into it, and he opens it and he looks at this temple, and he just starts to point things out, and you can see where they've covered it up. Part of it, the gold, whatever they've tried to use here to try and turn this into a temple of Corellin, I guess, but I think this is where she once was.
You'll bring her back here again.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to have words with Lena, because I know she does the... What's the moon lady called?
Moonweaver.
Yes, but she might be open
I'm
to
sure
it.
there's room for more than one.
I could certainly push for it. Well, push. I can have a word.
What was that investigation check again, Darwin? Sorry.
15.
Kirik then peers closer. No, I'm wrong. You can see the symbol, part of it, and he points up to the bit above one of the main doors, where in the earthquake the facade has fallen away, and where there was once a symbol of Corellin, there is now a symbol of, or the beginning of the symbol of the Moonweaver, that pale moon. I remember now, when we walked here last time, it was that way, and he points and just begins to wander along the edge of the quay. and rounds some buildings, and as he rounds the buildings, you see it. Long destroyed, flattened. A statue fallen and crumpled. As I recheck my map and look where I put things. A raven's head, or part of a stone raven's head if you like, near to Kirik that he picks up. And just sort of walks over to where the front of the temple would have been and just places it upright. And I will say Kirik places that down, and as he places it down, he is going to use somebody roll me a D100, please.
Oh, that's on you, Danny.
Come on. 61.
Kirik places his hand on top of this raven's head and just tries to reach out to her. But he's just too tired. So he turns and makes his way back.
We all have the same idea.
Yeah. Well, Kirik wouldn't have thought that.
I presume he tried a divine intervention.
Divine intervention.
Yes, nice.
Yes. So I'll chalk that off. So he heads back to the water. And he's going to look to you three. Maybe stay on the key bit. I'll walk down these stairs to the water and I'll do whatever you did, Dogger.
When they left, it was violent. Just a heads up.
I got that impression.
Yeah,
I think he's going to Spider-Man it just into the sea like.
spaff it out.
You would see Kirik turn, sort of smile a little bit, and then descend down these stairs, and he's just going to take his boots off and put them on the stairs next to him, and then he's going to sit and just dangle his feet into the water. And he's just going to close his eyes and sort of go into a meditative pose. And you wait for 1 minute. 2 minutes. 5 minutes. And then eventually Kirik's eyes flash open and he sort of stumbles to his knees, leans over the steps, and then just opens his mouth and water just gushes out of his mouth, his nose, his ears. Literally flooding out of his body. Somebody roll me a Constitution saving throw for Kirik, please.
I'll roll it if you tell me what I need to add.
His con is +9.
+9.
Oh, beauty!
He's got a good gun.
Sorry, Kirik. It's an 11.
It's an 11.
I rolled a 1 and a 2.
Thanks for coming, Dave.
Yeah.
Could have been worse. 12 points of cold damage.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, that could have been worse.
like that.
Could have been a lot worse. as this water just leaves his body, the ocean begins to ripple, where he's had his feet dangling and where he now sort of just slumps to the side and just curls up into a ball a little bit. As this then whirlpool begins to form. This maelstrom. And you see this figure of a water elemental, the same figure you saw before. Sort of these arms, if you like, more like pseudopods, if anything, just made of flowing water, and this hair-like creation made out of flowing water as well. You just see sort of indents for eyes, and a split appear where the mouth is.
We are free. No one will control us again. But we will remember the Raven.
This wave crashes out and sort of lifts Kirik up over the steps onto the quay and back into the city, sort of splashes against you and floods a number of the houses around.
Is Kirik doing UN negotiations?
Kirik is then just going to sort of cough. God, that tasted awful. He's just going to stand, collect his boots that have also been washed back up, and just sort of puts them back on. Where to next?
Throne room.
Anybody have any water? Like good water,
Actually, you've
not
just
hot
had-
water.
Oh,
I mean, got whiskey.
I've got a little bit.
That's good water, isn't it?
It's the water of
I'll
life.
take anything right now. Oh. He just takes the water skin off, sort of under, and oh, yep. I think that might be the last time I swim in the sea.
Yeah,
I think
but
that
not,
also might have been my chamber pot.
not the River of Death, though.
Was it really?
Throne room, and then rest.
And Lena says
I
she
could
was
sleep
going
for
to
days.
the marketplace.
She was, but can't we just go and rest and wait until she comes back?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see if she's okay there, but I mean, it's her lot now.
You head back. I'll go and tell her what we're doing, and that we'll deal with whatever this is tomorrow.
If you're going, we're all going.
I think I could sleep for a week.
Let's go, speak to her, and then sleep. Sleep, chill, rest. I know it's only early morning.
Well, sleep first, and then whatever.
And even though it's been a number of hours, it is still mid-morning.
Yeah.
The last of the skirmishes, if you like, have ended with that earthquake and the mini tidal wave, if you like. Bothrid and Ander, you are both very slow. Not quite as slow. Oh, sorry, slower slightly than Kirik, who is also slow to walk and move. Oh, I've just realised. No, that's Bothrid. Sorry, ignore me. Kirik didn't have disadvantage on that. It's almost like Bothrid and Ander are tripping over things, and where they would usually sort of dodge around things or move out of the way, they're just walking into stuff, and the exhaustion is very much starting to set in properly here. It's been a long time since anybody or any of you sort of got engaged in a full-scale battle. and you eventually come to the marketplace. You round the big tree, where you see all of the market stalls have pretty much just been pushed to the side where they're still standing. And instead there is this square of defenders, all turned inward. And they have bows out in some places. There's some double-bladed quarterstaffs in there as well. No arrows knocked, but hands on quivers. And you can see sort of Lena at the edge, just sort of peering over and trying to speak to people. And as you get closer, you just hear a shout of, "You're no queen of mine! Come in here and fucking talk to us rather than standing out there!" You doing anything?
I will go and join. So is Lena on the outside of the group, did you say?
Lena's sort of on the outside, just, if anything, pulling two of the defenders slightly apart and just trying to speak to people, but there's clearly a group of people that just don't want to. Well, there's a couple of individuals that don't want to hear it, at least.
Okay, I will go stand beside Lena to then create that gap. So then it goes defender, defender, Lena, me, defender, defender. So then me and her are both visible to the crowd.
There is a shout that goes out as you approach next to Lena from a defender somewhere. "All hail the King of Esmir!" All the defenders come to attention. And Lena turns and makes a very deliberate display of curtsying towards you. "My king."
And I will bow to her and say, "Good day, leader of the Twin Cities." Making it really obvious that she knows who I am, and I've publicly just said who she is.
And she sort of winks as she comes up from that curtsy, if you like. "My lord, these are the last of the... I suppose we could probably call them rebels at this point, but whatever you wish to call them. As I said, I'm trying to avoid any more bloodshed, and they have been disarmed. Armor is gone. We can place them in the dungeons, but ultimately I would like them to just go home."
Do they know who they were fighting for?
"We were fighting for Erendriel, the true king of Deluin."
Wrong.
Erendriel has been dead for months.
"Prove it."
You must have seen it yourself, the way he was acting, the cruelty that he had begun to act with. He wasn't working for you. He was working against you for the devil. For the Lord of the Nine Hells himself.
He may have had a firm hand, but we thrived.
You call this thriving?
We lived. We didn't suffer any attacks like them other cities, not until you fuckers got here.
Do you not find that suspicious? That you were the only city not to be attacked?
I call that good leadership.
Right, okay. Well, regardless of whether he was your rightful king, I am now your rightful king. Erendriel, whether you believed him to be real or not, is gone. I am the leader, and by order of the king, I tell you, Lena is your new ruler. Of the Twin Cities, you are united under her. Nothing else.
This one individual was going to stand. "I know my ruler. And he sounds like you killed him." Spits at the feet of Lena. At which point you then see Micaiah, quick as anything, dart between two defenders and just bring a blade up to this old human's throat. "I suggest you show some respect."
Can I see...
Carry on.
As I say, can I see if there are any of the guards that actually made it out the room potentially from the throne room who saw the transformation of those devils and demons?
Make me a perception check, please.
Fucking hell, rolling well. 25.
No. And what you remember now is, as the mix was doing its things, they all perished one way or another, and actually it was one of the devils that felled the final one as it was trying to run. Micaiah is there with this blade. Show some respect, or I will show all of these people here what your blood looks like splattered across a platform. Words. What your blood looks like splattered across the pavement. Now my queen has asked for no bloodshed, and I will honour that. Now sit down. She just kicks the knee, and this old sort of human just stumbles down. I'm sorry, Lena, but I don't think we're going to get away with no one in the jail cells, at least. Well, at least for now.
You'll never convince everyone. You've done well, Lena.
No. And I'll take your steer on this. I am willing to let those who are willing to follow and not cause any distress to anyone else the chance to go home, be with their families and live. Anybody who wishes to put up a fight we'll place them in whatever dungeons or jails or whatever we've got.
I concur. Those, and I'll address the crowd, those who want to work towards peace and prosperity for Nialin, stand. Those who wish to continue to fight and rebel against the new peaceful reign that we are setting out for you, accompany Micaiah to the jail cells, as you are now prisoners of war.
There's a number of people that sort of look around, and then a gnome, funnily enough, sort of stands shakily. I quite like the idea of prosperity for Nialin, my liege, my king, sir. Sorry, one kingdom. I will follow. She's the daughter of Erendriel. I'll follow her. I'll follow you.
You speak wise, gnome. Regardless of if Erendriel was your true king, the line of succession falls to Lena naturally in his death. So you're right. If you follow Erendriel, you still follow Lena.
Oh, on board with that, sir.
Go.
For Nialin, then.
Oh, and then I'll do a really for Nialin proper rally cry.
And in your mind, you just hear Shank going, "For Nialin! That gnome's got some good stuff about him. We should arm him, make him a knight."
And as I say for Nialin,
Diagon just looks at Kirik like, fuck's sake.
as I do the for Nialin, does anybody in the crowd look a bit pithy if I inside check?
I mean, inside check.
Oh, I get disadvantage on my checks. I get advantage on insight, so that's a normal roll for me.
Straight roll, yeah.
It's alright, it was a 9.
A 9. You are so caught up in the gusto of for Nialin, just like, wow, a follower. More people stand up and do sort of for Nialin. But there are a number of people that sort of sit. And there's some shifty looks, and you can see the defenders at this point move in. Anybody that's still sat, they just pick them up, and sort of Micaiah leads that group away. And you're left with probably around 60-70% of the group that was there. A mixture of gnomes, elves, some humans. some other races as well, but not as sort of the gnomes, humans, and the elves sort of stand out, if you like, as being the majority. And they all just look at you. And that gnome just sort of stands and goes, "Well, begging your pardon, my lord, but well, can we go home now? I've got kids."
Of course. Be with your families.
"Thank you, my lord." And he just scampers off, just runs. Lena's just going to look to you. Well handled.
And I'll do a little head nod to my lady. You can see that now I've turned back away from the crowd and looking at her. She can see that I've sort of dropped the facade and I'm back to being absolutely fucked. I'm like, my lady, I'll take my leave now and I'll scuttle off.
And she sort of gathers up your arm. "I will walk with you, my lord." And she is helping. There is a strength in her arm, just sort of as she walks with you, and sort of that knowing, like, let's get you inside, shall we, before you drop the floor. And you'll head back towards the throne room, or back into the keep, at least, as the throne room now just has this giant crater in it.
Turn into a
There
wall
have been
feature.
a number of rocks that have been shifted outside at this point. You can see a steady stream of guards sort of moving in and out. Lena's just going to sort of guide you. If I remember rightly, there were some bedrooms around here somewhere. Oh. No, barracks are definitely not for you. Let's... And she leads you down sort of the main corridor. You can see the throne room ahead of you. This crack sort of all the way down the main corridor. She then turns left through a door. And as she's sort of leading you down this corridor, this corridor continues on, but then it turns right. And before she turns right, she looks down and says, "That's the old treasure room. We might want to build up your treasury at some point. Maybe tomorrow we go and see what's in there."
I was going to say that Anders.
That's the most perky you've seen Ander looking at in the last couple of hours, I have to say.
He skips.
Sleep first, then the jewels, my dear. She just taps your hand.
Just doing an angel in the coins.
Gold angel.
Just running Scrooge McDuck into it.
Yeah.
Comes out with 2 green gems in his eyes, like.
So she's going to continue on down, and she sort of opens one door and looks in and goes, "Oh, bathroom. I suppose you might want to clean up. There's wash basins and stuff in there, but actually this is the room I want to take you to." And she leads you past one more door and into another one. As she opens the door, there is this grand room with 4 sort of wooden pillars in the middle, literally a bear skin rug in the middle. And she walks in, she goes, "How vulgar. I imagine much to your liking, to be honest."
I see Dargon's beat me here and he's sleeping on the floor.
I turn to Botham.
There is
right? You're not going to put that on your head, are you?
Well, we don't need bear. We've got Chimera.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
much stronger.
True.
And there is a
No,
big
I'll say
4-poster bed at the end of this room. Off you go, Ander. Get some sleep. Get some rest. Boys, she turns to the rest of you. If you don't mind, I'm going to be the lord of lady of a city, I guess, and take the room next to this one, which is smaller but still has a nice grand bed. There is a barracks just down next to the entrance that will... I know you're all very, very high up, but let's keep some appearances here. There should be beds in there for all of you. I will make sure nobody disturbs you either.
That's very kind, Lena. The bed is the least. Thank you.
I'm open to spooning if you want.
I think I'd break that bed if I tried to get in.
Kirik's just going to look and... Spooning what? We've got food?
Kirik, our rooms are that way.
Explain on the way.
No.
Bed sounds good.
No.
So, Andy, you are left in this room. and everybody else goes into the barracks, and everybody settles down. And as you can hear the guard still shifting rocks, everybody's just going to sort of settle down for a nice long
It's
sleep.
consciously, it's weird sleeping alone. So I've either slept next to these three or with Mirabelle. It's weird actually being by myself in an empty room. I might not be a prisoner.
You would also see in this room a number of effects which you can immediately attribute to Erendriel. A robe, a pair of slippers here or there, just things that you know were his just due to their lavish, opulent nature. Or at least the version of Erendriel you met.
I was going to say, did he sleep?
I just got like a picture of him naked on a horse, like a Vladimir Putin style sort of thing.
Okay, you went with Putin. I was thinking Quagmire, but Putin's actually much better. But yeah, I suppose Anders more like Quagmire.
But yeah, let's take a short break there, and we will deal with the long rest when we come back.
All right, see you guys in a minute.
Cool. See you in a few minutes. Hey-o.
Hello.
We are back. So, yes, hello to everyone in the chat. I hope you all did your posture check, which I set off just before, because I've got a lot of bits that are just sat there and I really should use them, I suppose. Yes, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, JK. I know you've just said you've got to go, but appreciate the subscription today and always, and thank you for joining us once again. Hello to everybody else in the chat. Don't just sit there. If you want to interact, feel free. Just sort of drop us a message, say hi at least. And yeah, let's kick off with the second part of our show for this evening. So you all settle down and bed down for the evening. Bothrid and out like that. The exhaustion just washes straight over them. Kirik takes a moment to sort of settle himself, and then eventually looks at Bothrid, sees him snoring, so looks to you, Dargon, and just nods, and then settles down and closes his eyes. And within about 10 minutes or so, you hear the snoring. Dargon, you take a little bit longer to settle. Going to say the gravity of what you've just done begins to hit you a little bit.
I'm doubting myself, questioning it, hoping it was the right idea.
Now I'm going to say, for the sake of this, everybody's taken off their armour to get a proper long rest and proper rest and relaxation. As you do sit there, the armour, the Everlight's armour, like, it's almost like a shine that rolls across it.
As I see that, and I look over at the sword, we realise we haven't lost everyone who supports us, and quite frankly, we've never had more behind us. We will make this, I hope.
Okay. You fall asleep?
Yeah.
You fall into that deep, dreamless sleep for a number of hours. And then at some point there's just something almost tugging you half awake. As you do so, sort of respond to that. Sorry, we're just going to work on a technical issue in the background somewhere. Apparently there's a ticking noise somewhere.
Hang on a minute.
Just sounds like there's a metronome going.
Yeah, it's on yours, Matt.
It's on me.
Yeah, Just muted you for a second to check.
What in the fuck would I have going? I haven't got a watch on.
Or a pacemaker.
No, it's still there. That's
Interesting.
quite impressive, I have to say. Bear with for a minute, guys.
Yes, please do.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Actually,
And
while we're doing that...
sorry to the podcast people, if you.
It's alright, we'll
That's
try
obviously
and
right in
cut
your
this bit
ears.
out.
Guys, remind me, at the time you can see on screen that I'm going to get rid of this. Ooh, blimey, that's probably...
I'm just going to relog.
Yeah, you relog. I'm going to try and find some music.
Like a Super Bowl halftime show. When Matt gets back. I'm surprised I didn't have a dream, actually. And I thought he was going to make us all have a dream. And I thought Asmodeus was going to visit us again. But I think you're going to have some emotional trauma come up in your dream.
Quite possibly.
Is it gone?
Nope.
Nope. Is it your phone? Like when a phone's near a speaker and it's like a version of did-it.
Shouldn't be.
Let me just double check this.
Away.
Double check it's Matt. Yeah, it's definitely on Matt. I just wanted to triple check, otherwise you're like searching and it's not.
Every bit of radio-enabled equipment as far away as I physically can.
You're not still plugged into your guitar, are you?
Nope. Not do anything.
Possibly.
I think so.
Yeah, it's gone. Hey!
Just pressed random buttons.
There you go.
If in
Sorted.
doubt.
Excellent.
Hand.
Apologise. Apologise?
That's all they do in this
Apologies.
podcast, anyway, isn't it?
That's really
God knows
loud.
what was going on there.
There we go.
Right. Where were we?
Dreaming
I've
a
got an
lovely
emotional
dream,
trauma.
having a Mai Tai, and then waking up.
Dream a little dream. So yes, there is that. There's a pull that tries to drag you to semi-consciousness at least, and as it does so, there is this warm light. Not the light of Palor, but that radiant glow of the Everlight that fills your mind. It's almost blinding for a second, and as it dims, it then flashes. And as it flashes, there's a voice. You have avenged me, Dargon. You have avenged them.
How so?
The one who destroyed our temple. You have rid him from this material plane.
Well.
Well,
Oh. You are more than welcome. And I am glad to have done it.
he is a puppet, though, and there is more to be done.
It's clear he was a puppet.
Still.
Formidable.
In this world between sleep and awake. A gift. A righteous gift.
Thank you.
Out of the light, two shadows begin to appear. Start small, but they get larger and larger, and then one appears much bigger than the other. A female Goliath approaches, bathed in radiant light, wearing not robes, but clothes of sort of yellow and gold cloth, and a smaller Goliath child following at her heels. You did it, husband.
It's the second dream in that as many nights that this has happened. So Dargon tenses up, looks wary. Can he do an insight check on what's going on here? Or some sort of
You can.
check?
Maybe an insight check?
I do believe that will be with no bonuses. Yeah, it isn't. That'll be a 4.
You have no way of telling whether this is another trick, whether it's the real thing, whether it's just a dream, or what's going on in this moment. Fear not, husband.
You've been used to tempt me before.
I used to tempt you a lot, from what I recall.
No. Our foe wishes to tempt me with you, and I wish that you were really here.
For now, we are. And the child's just going to sort of peep round, look up. The female Goliath's just going to nod. And the child will bound forward. Daddy! She wraps itself around her leg.
I bend down and give her a hug, and I just look up and go, "Ask me for nothing, and let us enjoy this. And you'll thank me."
There is that voice again from the light. This is my gift, Dargon.
I'll just whisper, "Thank you."
You killed the bad man, Daddy.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Did you stab him good?
Oh, you know, just like those boars back in the mountains. I got him good.
Mummy doesn't let me stab things anymore. It's too nice up here.
I bet it's lovely.
It's warm.
Oh,
No snow, though.
we like our snow, don't we? There. We were
I
always
can't make
warm.
snow gnomes up here.
Maybe we'll make snow gnomes when I see you again.
Do you promise?
Yeah, I promise.
I won't tell Mummy.
Okay, our little secret.
Okay, Daddy. I miss you. She's just going to kiss you on the cheek.
I'll pick her up into my arm and walk forwards. I'll embrace and just a big family hug.
And as you sort of embrace your wife as well, her hand snakes around your back and just sort of pulls you in close. And she places the chasest of kisses against your lips and sort of just touches her forehead to yours. We will be waiting, my love.
Oh, you tempt me so. For I want to see you so much. And I...
Don't be so quick.
Yeah. A while back I was ready to be here far too soon.
You have family again. And they need you.
From the strangest of places. Yeah.
It's always where family is found. But they need you as much as you need them. When it's right, when your end does come, we'll be there, waiting, as always.
At least I now know that I have something to look forward to. Until then, I've got to look after my family.
I love you.
I love you too. Forever.
And with that, she's going to let you go and sort of holds her hand out to the child, who looks at you. Bye, Daddy.
Well, see you soon.
And she's going to skip off with her mum. And you can see them sort of chatting, although you don't hear them. And that light sort of claims them.
Dargon stands really tall. Taller than you think he's ever stood at this point. He looks proud.
You are the champion of not but one god, but two. Go now with our blessing. See that Asmodeus does not succeed. The aid that we can give, we will, through our gifts.
On my honour.
See to it, Dargon. As you bow, that darkness sort of overwhelms you once again, and you drift back into a dreamless slumber. Ander.
I was not ready for that.
No.
Can I just dream? Can I just be asleep? Let's not go for an emotional experience.
You've been floating in darkness throughout your whole sleep. And again, or like Dargon, not that you know, but you feel this slight tug at your consciousness. And rather than golden light, you see this almost purplish glow begins to form around you, and the space around you. And you see a long banquet table with 4 seats. At the very head of the table opposite you, a figure forms, spectral image in purple, that looks ever so much like you. Crown on their head. And then in 2 of the 3 remaining chairs, 2 more figures appear. An elf. And a tiefling. Both crowned. And all 3 stare at you. unmoving, unspeaking. One chair remains empty.
So one that looks like me and the elf and the tiefling, so that's the three brothers. So if Gareth doesn't appear...
Well, make me a perception check.
Or that one is Gareth. Or have I still got my disadvantage from being exhausted while I'm asleep?
We'll say you're asleep, so exhaustion really doesn't come into play.
Okay, so I can keep my advantage. Did you say investigation or perception?
Perception.
Oh, sorry. Ignore that. Perception. Natural 20.
You instantly recognise the figure at the head of the table as Gareth. And as you do that, you feel a shift from your side, and the moonblade melts. And where it melts, a silver spectral figure then sort of coalesces into being behind Gareth. And you see a very proud knight in armour, plumed helmet, very polished regalia, and this, even though it's in sort of metallic form, this curled moustache, almost like a Van Dyke goatee, if you like. And it's the knight that speaks. Well, my liege, what a turn for the books. For Nialin.
And then I'll go to the empty seat, and then I'll repeat for Nialin as I get there.
And as you get there, the tiefling's just going to place a hand across it. And they're just going to look towards you. This chair does not belong to you.
Where should I sit?
Where the other kings always sit. The heirs. And he points back to the other end of the table where there is a chair at the opposite end to Gareth. And that purple spectral form of Gareth will lift a purple spectral cup. For the future king of Nialin.
I'm assuming I've got a glass to raise at the other end.
As you raise your hand, you find a glass there, just seemingly out of nowhere.
For Nialin.
For Nialin! And the knight figure takes out a sword which you recognise as being the sword that was in the tomb in Shiverspire that shrunk down to become the Moonblade Dagger of Vesemir. And it's just raised into the air and sheathes it again. Gareth and the two others don't seem to react to Shank's presence. The elf will look towards you. Fey touched. How funny. Where am I? This is not the forest.
I was hoping you could tell me.
This is home, but not home. This is a body, but not a body.
I think I'm in a dream, but not a dream.
How very fey. Twice round and twice again.
You bastard.
Gareth at this point will sort of lower the glass. One chair remains empty. One soul not free.
I intend to bring him home here to you. I'm just not sure how.
Seek out the place where he is held. The place where he sealed his fate. There, you can end his curse.
I thought I'd already done that when I met him at Shiverspire in his tomb. Is that not one and the same?
No. A mere echo. Body only, but not soul.
So it must be where he made the wish. Do you know where he did that?
Such a clever
Was it in
boy.
Estimate?
Find the scar on this land. There. In its very centre, you will find the spark. There. You can free my son. Send him beyond the 9th, finally. Send him home.
I know I probably can't control what's going on here, but there's quite a few scars on the land of Nialin. Do you mean where the Wrathstrike crater, the Fiendfell chasm, or whatever it's called? Nialin is scarred beyond belief. I'm not sure what was the original one.
The angel will tell you what you need to know.
Okay. It was good to see you. Somewhat in person.
You have done well. Worthy of the line of Splinterthorn. Now claim it. Reforge.
I will do you proud.
And with that, they will all stand and raise these spectral glasses once more, and as they take a sip, one by one, they just... in this purplish, arcane flash. And Shank there takes out the sword. I am bound to the royal line of Splinterthorn. And will kneel and place the sword on the table, and as he does so, that metallic form sort of shrinks away again, and the sword itself shrinks as it lays down on the table to the size of a dagger. Very ornate dagger. The Moonblade of Esmir.
I will sheath it Put it back. Take a seat back at the table, I suppose, by myself, and just take a moment to kind of revel in what the hell just happened.
And as you do that, there is a figure that steps out of the darkness. Black hair, black skin, black clothes. Curious. But then you always were a strange one. Don't forget to embrace the darkness, Ander. She's always watching after all.
I use the darkness, don't you worry, when it suits me.
Nobody uses me. I will help where I see fit.
You got what I meant. Don't try and make it about you.
Trails off again as he turns, and darkness does overtake you. And now everybody can click the long rest button.
Nice.
Fucking hell.
Of course it's happening inside your head, Harry. But why on earth would that make it any less real?
Love it. Right, let's do Kirik as well. Long rest.
Oh, I need to eat some before I lose my... I can't...
We'll say that gets done
nutrition.
anyway, as you sort of wake the next morning. Well, not the next morning. Sort of early evening, if anything. You've slept for most of the day. And it is dark. There's candles that have been lit in the rooms that you're in now. As everybody's stats start to slowly trickle through. Apparently so.
Ah, yes, of course. We'll have the no longer aid.
No
Oh,
aid.
yes.
Let's trickle through some figures.
I feel loads better now. I've only got 2 levels of exhaustion. I'm positively full of the Genesis Springs.
So Kirik wakes and is just sort of stretches and feels a little bit lighter on his feet, a little bit quicker in movement, but still there is that. Bothrid and awake in the same state, still sort of exhausted, still feeling a bit sluggish, lethargic. And Dargon, I believe you are pretty much done.
I am all good. So,
Yes.
considering the dream, kind of bounces into the room. You know, sort of out and through, presumably going to the throne room, assuming that's where we're all going to be joining up.
Mhm.
But
You can
yeah,
head there if you wish.
a spring in his step.
Kirik's probably the first one to sort of chime as he's chiming, as he sort of puts his armour and everything back on and then looks at you and... Dargon, are you okay? You seem a bit more upbeat than usual.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit... Well, we were all battered in that fight, but... What made you one down, and... Good things. Just good things.
Can I have what you've had, please? Because I still feel awful.
You look it, I'm not going to lie. At my liege.
Oh, adding my liege doesn't make it any less disrespectful.
My lord.
Lena will
That's
sort
like
of step
saying-
up and...
No offence at the end, as Cecil equivalent. You definitely meant offence.
It looks
Lena
like you
will
need
step
another
up.
few days of rest, mate.
You'll see Lena in her hand has 3 sort of pouches. And she sort of looks and
Okay.
says, figured you were probably going to need these, given what you told me about yesterday. And she's just going to pour the first one out. And you see it's diamond dust that she pours into her hand. I've left most of the treasure room for you, Ander. But I figured you might need this. And she is going to take that diamond dust and just hold it against your arm as she then speaks a word or a phrase in Elvish, and her hand moves in these strange Doctor Strange type movements, and she casts a 5th level Greater Restoration. Once on you. She then does the same for Bothrid. And then she does the same for Kirik.
Damn.
Down to just the 1 level.
And by proxy, she then looks knackered.
At that point, she does take a big sort of just... Yes. Well. If anybody's got any more of this stuff, she holds now 3 empty pouches, and I can do it again. But maybe you just choose to rest and sleep off the rest.
Who's still looking a little bit shit?
Bothrid and Ander are less sluggish now, but still tired.
So 1 level of exhaustion.
Kirik's no longer exhausted, and Kirik will sort of look and. Thank you, Lena.
I'll go in front of Ander and I'll hold Timiel's Wrath out, sort of, clasping the blade.
Ander, if you will.
Indicating that you do the same.
And I'll put my hands, if you're holding it that way, I'll then put my hands over the top.
I will then
Say
my mind.
Timiel's Wrath. Could you help us out?
Have Bothrid hold the blade as well.
Oh.
Bothrid. If you will. The same.
What?
Budge over, Ander, budge over.
This feels weird. Why are we all touching your sword?
Could you help
Just
them
go
out?
with it.
Okay.
Of course, Darkon. There is a flash. In its new state, there is then a second flash. And with that first flash, you feel yourself just invigorated. And then you see Bothrid with a second flash, sort of, his eyes glow for a second, and then...
Well, I think we can go get on with another fight. Don't you?
Presumably.
I'm ready to explore the treasury. Yes, if that's what you mean.
So, Darwin, you now have 4 charges.
Oh boy.
I will get that sorted. I was meant to do it. I will do that.
Right.
After we finish tonight, I will get that sorted and added to your
That's
outfit.
fine. Well,
Actually,
that you used them all, but that's good.
your little convening with Timiel there, that reminds me, I had a dream last night where I was with Geth and his 2 adoptive sons, but obviously his biological son, my heir, and my ancestor was missing. And what he told me is, we obviously went to his tomb where his body was laid to rest, but that's not where his soul is trapped. His soul is trapped where he originally made the wish, and obviously it's a riddle. They told me to find the scar. In the center, we will find a spark, and that's where I can free him and send him beyond the ninth finally to rest, which is then going to break the curse and free Nialin. The scar, I was like, well, which scar? Because you've got the Rathstrike crater, you've got the chasms. This land is riddled with scars. And he said, the angel will be able to tell us, which I'm assuming the scar will be where Timiel originally betrayed him? Would you be able to ask?
Well, good morning to you too, Ander, and goodness me, you've just landed this on us before breakfast. Yeah,
This
right.
raises a good point. Sorry, boys. Hang on. Can we get some food?
Do you have
Yeah.
any pan au chocolats?
Pano what?
It's a northern delicacy. Sorry, you might not have it in the Twin Cities.
It might be called baguette de cacao here.
You want pastries? I can get. I'm sure there's a bakery around here somewhere.
I jest. I'll have whatever. Stale bread and cheese. I'm used to it.
Oh no, there'll be definitely more than that around here. Arendelle and, well, whatever it was, definitely kept some, well, lots of things, let's just put it that way.
Back to the point, Ander, you are quite right. This place is riddled with scars. So, how do we know which one it is? I mean, you've got the horrific mountains to the kind of north of these. I don't know whether they were always there. I know we've possibly discussed it before, and there's breaks to other realms all over the place.
I'm thinking, well, with them saying the angel can tell us, I only know one angel, and the one who's redeemed himself, Timiel, and if he knows, it must be then the site where he betrayed him, and then he made the wish. And obviously, if he's bound to the wish, his soul is bound to the wish. I'm thinking that must be where it was, the site where he betrayed.
Yeah, I mean, this brings us back to the idea that, great, hypothetically, let's go release his soul, break the wish, return Nialin to Asmodeus, comes with, and
Yeah, I
wreaks
don't
havoc.
mean now.
No, but the
mean-
point is, we have discussed, we need to revisit this. Is he stronger here, or is he stronger back there?
Well, if we remove Nialin here, the gate will be stronger. So technically, he
Will be weaker.
won't. Yeah, but he's already here. He's already the other side of the gate. So
Is
if we
he?
return Nialin,
Is he, are we?
his avatar.
I thought his avatar was weaker if we return. Was I wrong?
No, because the gate would be stronger. So yeah, he would be weaker.
Damn, have
I
we
suppose if
remembered
he's-
that right after 2
If
weeks
he's
or
already
whatever?
this side of the gate, if he's already this side of the gate, it's like taking him back while he's already here. We got to push him back the other side of the gate and then leave.
So what you were told is that while Nialin remains where it is,
Yeah.
Asmodeus will always be stronger.
Right. So, assuming that he is here stronger, then returned, he's weaker.
The only problem is, if he's not beyond the gate, back the other side of the gate, when we return it, although he's weaker, he's still then here.
We destroy his,
Wherever
we
Nialin
destroy
goes
his
back to.
avatar, he is forced back to wherever he came from, but he'll be
Then
weaker.
we return Nialin.
No, he's stronger here. Do we really want to fight him here?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so for example, he's currently in a. Although he'll be weaker when we return him, he'll still be here. So then he can still wreak havoc in a weakened form of wherever we return Nialin to. Whereas if we push him beyond the gate, then return Nialin, he can't then get back to Nialin. Or
Kirik will chime up at this point and just... Yes, we all had dreams. You can't push a god beyond the gate. That requires ridiculous divine power. Let's make an intelligence check for Kirik, please. I'll let somebody else roll that.
Come on, Danny. Roll that one.
It's a straight D20 roll.
Bloody hell, he hasn't got.
I will let you add
intelligence.
history onto this, actually, and go +6.
+6. What have I got? +6. Just do it myself. Don't be bad. 20. Dirty 20 if I do a +6. No, 14, sorry.
14.
And a +6 twice. Yeah, 14.
14. Fucking expertise in history. Kirit begins to sort of take a couple of books out that he's got with him and sort of flicks through. Yes, we can't do anything about the divine gate that was created by the gods, but it's weaker because Nialin's here.
The divine gate is weaker because Nialin's here. So it'll be stronger if Nialin's not here. So that's why Asmodeus would be weaker, because the gate is stronger. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I think so. My concern...
Yeah.
Lena, you were telling us yesterday about the wars and how Nialin was sort of in such a state because of those primordial beings and the power they hold. If we return Nialin, then that exposes Nialin once again to be fought over. And these powers. Plus, we've adjusted that some way or another. We've killed one of them. That may... Well, Lena, you said it yesterday, it may affect the balance of things, right?
Yeah, no, you've got a point, and also I had in my understanding we return Nialin and then immediately fight Asmodeus. But Asmodeus is a slippery bugger, and if I were him and I knew that I wasn't going to do so well, I would hide for 100 or 1,000 years, amass forces in another plane, and return to the real realm. But while he's trapped here, he's trapped here. Yeah.
He's not trapped, though, is he?
He can choose to get here just as easily as he can elsewhere. Is that right? Or is he
walking more freely here?
Yeah. So... Can he return? Can he get to the other realm just as easily? I suppose we don't know.
Ooh, somebody roll me a religion check, please. Anybody can roll this.
I will roll it. Okay, why not? Don't see how I'd know it. Religion. Ooh, 16.
Something's rubbed off on you somewhere. Whether it's Kirik's knowledge, whether it's the temple, dirty buggers. Whether it's the temple and you just start to recall knowledge. Maybe it's the encounter with your wife, knowing that she was something of a lawkeeper within that temple. But you remember reading about the avatars of deities and how they used to walk and traverse the material plane. Now, multiple avatars could exist all in once in different worlds, different planes, from what was understood. But they were always weaker than the whole. The divine gate was there to prevent deities from walking again. It's difficult to know, if you were to return Nialin, whether Asmodeus would be trapped behind that divine gate again, or because he already exists here and you're just shifting it, whether he would have a weakened avatar.
Yeah. To confirm whether I know this or not, or Dargon knows this or not, does the divine gate
Was that also designed to stop avatars?
With a 16, you would not know that.
Fine. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Well, I suppose we need to know where we're going. But after that, it's... Which one do we try first? Do we kill a god or free a soul? Never thought I'd say that on a Thursday.
Can we kill
Well,
it?
it's
Return a god, smash his head in,
Oh no, don't get me wrong.
fart in his
fully
face.
mean to
You know
try
what I
and
mean.
kill a god.
To kill a mockingbird.
What do mockingbirds have to do with gods? Sorry.
It's a random quote.
yeah, it's a scripture I had to learn at school.
Wow, your Bodic College sounds amazing.
Yes, it is. It's a bardic song sheet.
No, I'm being serious. See, these quotes. That was true Simao Kirik style, where it sounds sarcastic but isn't sarcastic.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the college development was to kill a mockingbird. There's a lot of teachings on persuasion in there.
Interesting.
I suppose...
We do need to have a long. If we find out where the scar is, because we know we're going to the Black City, right? Find out where the scar is. We need to have a good think about whether doing that first will give us an advantage or not before going to the Black City. I'm not sure.
Let's find out where it is then. Where we're going. Also, Ando, your memory probably is better than mine. Did we actually go to the grave of where this particular king's or prince's body was, or not?
I did. Yeah,
You did.
it was in Shipspire.
Ah,
His tomb. That's where I got Shank.
yeah. I thought you were talking about the one on the other island. That was Geth's.
Dargon, you would now remember blizzards and following something that you couldn't see. A staircase that was hidden under the snow that you all descended, and then you saw it, and it saw the sword, and you backed out. Anda did his stuff, and then you exited out, but all these skeletons attacked you. Silvered blades. And that rings out in your mind, specifically silvered blades, for obvious reasons. But Anda coming out with a book and a dagger.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that now. Well, let's find out where that is then, shall we?
I had the courtesy, because I figured you may want to start planning, of having something of a map brought up and created. We've had to correct a few bits. It seems Arendriel was... Sorry, I need to stop calling him Arendriel. That thing was rather arrogant. The Black City and sort of the whole of the Arcane Waste was twice the size, nowhere near what it was. So we've had somebody sort of try and correct it. Anyway, I digress. Here's your food. We'll sort on the map. We also need to think about what we're doing next overall. There's a lot of people in Esamir. Are we going home? Well, I obviously need to stay here now.
Yep.
But are you going home?
How many people did we leave in SMI?
Well,
It'll be the rest of the River's End, the rest of Mantineer. We left Mantineer. Greenfell people. Greenflower, even. Yeah. And then everyone we've saved along the way, really. Other than Mantineer, they stayed where they were. So we could, if you wanted, bring the people from Riversend. They could come here. We also need to call the banners, I suppose, if we are going to march on the Black City.
Deimos.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you already have found or not. Is there a arcane connection on pathway to different areas somewhere in the city? And if not, is it something you could recreate for?
Well, I can certainly try and make one. I ain't fucking found one, if that's what you mean.
No, that's fine. Understandably, I'm sure there was hoping to. I didn't say anything. To keep the to keep people out, I suppose. Now that we know who was here, so Lady Lena, I don't think that we want to go back immediately. We want to make sure that this is a safe place. You are now going to probably get swarmed, and that may work to everyone's advantage, but we're not going to leave here without proper planning.
Oh, and this is why I ask, because obviously I am a lady of the Twin Cities, but one of those cities is still lost. So I have a selfish ambition, but I appreciate under Dalgon Kirik. Or do you all have other priorities outside of just these cities?
If that we do, are you willing to risk leaving here to return to Riversend to capture it? I'm sure that is good to gain as many cities back to our side as possible. But are we going to not find the forces focused on Deluin now?
I don't know. It wasn't amazingly well defended.
Because it didn't need to be.
It was so important.
The point is, it wasn't being attacked because it was already under their control. My concern is they're going to know that now.
You make a good point. Double the guard, double the watch, double everything.
If it may be prudent to, if Deimos, if you could, to bring the people from Riversend here to help with the rebuilding effort, and then if you wanted to think about what you do about Riversend once everybody's here. So all of your people are here, albeit maybe crammed into one city. I'm not sure how that would work provisions-wise, but it could help with the rebuild effort.
Kirik at this point will sort of say, I can go in Deimos' stead, if you like. You can send me and I can call your banners for you. I have other things to retrieve in Esame. And I do not trust anybody else to bring them here.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Very good point. The point, do it. Absolutely. What we've got to now strategize is we do not want a singular point or focus of our attack. Deluin is great, but we need to hit them from multiple sides. So I would say that Esamir, and via proxy somewhere nearby, maybe Telma, maybe even attempting to get the keep back, means we can hit them from both sides. In this way, we can distract their armies, flank them, make them weaker.
I love how Danny's just turned. For anybody in the podcast, Danny's just turned around in his chair and looked up at the map that he's got pinned to his wall, and I knew he was doing that.
I can just see the little tiny little
island on the bottom.
Yeah.
Because all I'm thinking is, although it's good that we can attack from one side, really only Deluin.
I'll be better for you. There you go, Danny. I'll put it up on screen.
So Deluin goes around the back, but you got to get around the Fiendful Chasm, and we can come from the Maltmaster's Keep, and there's a gap at the top. So
Hellspawn
there's
path.
really only two places to attack from, isn't there?
There are,
But still,
but that still means that you've got a 50-50 against 100% of the army.
yeah. So you can't. It's a pincer movement rather than a attacking on all sides, isn't it? But yeah, still a good
Do we
call.
think we have the forces to pull off?
Spread it.
That's
True. We might spread ourselves too thin.
We need to rally. We need to find exactly who is going to be involved. We need to now, at this point, figure out who are our allies and who will come and call.
Yeah.
Who will
Because
come
we'll
when
have
we
the
call.
healers of Mountaineer, the Phaliad army. They said they would help.
Idril
So that'll be
are also willing to
Idril.
provide a small number, I believe. Anyone from Moonbright who survived and were kept
And then
out.
basically everyone in Essamir.
It's
Fine.
everyone estimate. We're also talking about those of the Feywild, whether they come and help. Greenflower, as you say, they've been on our side for a while, and the remainders of the Maltmasters.
Wherever they are.
Yeah. We can only hope. I still think, and I will take counsel on this, but even if we have just 400 people, splitting them into 200 and 200 and splitting the forces is better than 400 walking in. Bearing in mind, a small group of us could also be the third group, like we just did here. I know it may not be such a surprise as it wasn't this time, but the point is we can still cause havoc.
Yeah, I mean, we took this city with 200.
But that has to be the plan anyway, surely, regardless of whether we do this pincer movement, as you called it, or an all-on assault. You have the task to complete. Right? I'm certainly not going to take on a god, but I can distract with my forces and whatever forces you give me.
I say I hate a rinse and repeat, but a rinse and repeat, because it worked, distract the main forces while we cut the head off the snake. We need to know, however, where this other place we need to go is, and whether we're doing that before or afterwards. But let's find out where it is.
So, and this is Kirik speaking now. So we have the scar, the soul, or whatever it was you dreamed under. Asmodeus, of course. River's End.
Well,
And the Maltmaster's Keep.
then just
For
Well, I think we'll need to retake the whole of Nialin and obviously rebuild the whole of Nialin. But
and that goes without saying.
Lead
I'm
ours.
just trying to think of immediate priorities.
I mean, it does beg the question: do we force our enemy back into his home and out of everywhere else first, or do we keep him spread out? Therefore, he is weaker. If we take back the Maltmasters and River's End and Moonbright and all these places, then yes, we force him back into a tiny area, but that may well make them concentrated Or it may well make them defeated.
I feel like you said cutting the head off the snake. I feel like that will work if we defeat the main foe. All of his devils and demons and what else will just retreat with him.
I'm inclined to agree. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go find out, I hope, one of the pieces of information we need.
While Dargon's doing that, we at least need, well, our friend and whoever else you want to bring back from Esamir, so I will do that. While you plan with Lena, and obviously we can still communicate. Lena still has the candle. It's one way of getting messages back and forth.
Has Captain Swift or Admiral Swift still got the sending stone?
Unless you've taken it off.
So no, I have not. I keep forgetting to. So you can always find Admiral Swift, and she has the sending stone if you need to reach us as well.
That's a good point. Let's do that.
Yeah, whoever is willing to fight, they need to return. We need to all meet up.
Okay, I'll head back. Retrieve whoever wants to come and fight. I'm expecting a lot, by the way, if we're saying this is like it.
Yeah, we'll confer with you shortly.
Of course.
But yeah, this may well be it.
Okay. Kirik will turn to Deimos, sort of nod. Deimos will turn to you all, sort of bow to you, and bow to Lena, nods at Dargon, shakes Bothra's hand. Alright then, let's get this fucking show on the road. And Deimos sort of retreats out with Kirik. And you sort of hear various words about 10 minutes later, and this sort of bluish flash from outside the room somewhere. Dargon, you wanted to go and do something.
Yes. He knows the way back up to where he signalled the army.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that the top of the tower would be the good one. So I was going to wander back up there. And then... because he's just trying to keep, you know, sort of the symbolism of how he stands, how he sits, how he meditates. On this occasion, what he's going to do is instead, he's going to stand. He's going to make sure he can see the sky and the horizon and everything else. He's going to pull out the sword. He's going to hold it, the hilt in both hands, shield on his back. And he brings it forwards and holds it in front. Up, straight up. Bows his head, closes his eyes. Timiel, I wish I could speak with you.
Make me a... yeah, maybe a strength-based religion check, please.
Religion.
The very celestial power that fills your muscles and sort of grants you that magical ability and those extra abilities.
I love the grog
flows
dice.
into the sword.
It's rolling well for me tonight. 23.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah.
As that celestial power sort of squeezes into your muscles, and it's almost like the effect when your muscles fill with blood from doing bicep curls or whatever, your arms just pop, veins pop out, and then this golden, almost like liquid, snakes up the blade itself, forming these runes, and there is a shining light, and it just shoots into the sky. And where it shoots into the sky, the dark clouds that have been covering Nialin for so long part, and the sun shines through and shines on the top of the keep, and you feel that warmth, and then you hear Timur's voice. Who called, Dargon?
Thank you for conversing with me. I wish to ask you a question of the past, if I may.
By all means. If I can answer, I will.
It's our belief and understanding that the soul of the betrayed king holds the magic holding Nialin here. It's our understanding it's held in the place he was killed. We would wish to know where this is. We've been to his tomb. We know it's not there.
There is a pause and a silence as this warmth still shines on you.
Dargon's wording had been very clear to not mention Timiel's part in this.
The time has finally come then. I struck him down in the deserts of the Arcane Wastes. The site of what was meant to be a great battle. One that was over far too quickly. There is a chasm there now. A roiling pit of molten rock and lava, from what I understand. If his soul is anywhere, and I imagine it will be there.
I hope that freeing his soul, freeing Nialin, will also free you.
I hope so too. But in the same sense, I think you already have. I'm home.
Okay.
It's her now.
May I be so bold as to ask another question?
Okay.
I am unsure whether we should defeat Asmodeus here or in our home realm. I think here, but I don't know.
You want me to tell you whether you should break the curse?
Before or after we fight him?
That is not my decision to make.
Quite.
I will not be fighting him. Not again. The brand still burns too clearly on my arm.
Forgive this question then. I have bravado in a fight any day. But what chance do we have if you failed?
The mortal beings of the world were
the favoured creations of the ones I call Lord for a reason. I'm strong. I have power. But mortals have hope. And where hope blossoms, success and victory usually follow.
The second that Timiel said hope, the dream he just had bursts into Dargon's mind. And it's all he can see.
Whatever the outcome, Dargon, you have earned your place in the halls of the gods. You all have.
Beside my family will do.
Is there anything else I can help you with, Dargon?
You have been instrumental. Now and before. I thank you.
Fight hard. Fight strong.
Fight well.
Trust in the blade.
Always. I'll open my eyes.
As you open your eyes, that hole in the clouds where the sunlight shines through doesn't close up.
Do we see
Sunlight
the-
shines
Do
under
you see the
you.
runes on the sword?
The runes stay on the sword.
I do a fairly ceremonial movement with the sword. Very poncy, very ceremonial, in such a way that I bring it back.
Very poncy.
Yeah, you know, Dargon hasn't usually done
It's-
that before.
It's very military drill style, yeah.
And return it to the hilt.
Excellent.
I look out. An internal thought and a nod. And then back downstairs.
Cool. As you retreat back downstairs and join everybody else, and you are just about to regale what you've heard, there is a horn that blasts out 4 times. And then it sounds
Your
out
phone
again.
went off again, is it?
It is my phone. And all of you immediately turn as one of the vanguard of Deluin, now under Lena's command and under Anders' command by proxy, bursts through the door. My king, my lady. There's movement from the north. At least 5, 6 individuals.
From the west or the east? North.
From the direction our so-called enemy is coming from.
Can we see a vantage? Take me there.
By all means. And the vanguard turns and sprints and runs. Is it just Dargon? Who else is following? Bothrid's going to go, because Bothrid will. Fuck it.
Yeah. I think I know what Dagon's going to do, so I'll go with him.
Okay, so Andy goes.
I'll also
Lena
bamf out
goes.
Azazel and just in my mind
Yep.
be like, up. We just straight up. Just,
So
you
the
know.
minute you exit out the doors, there's this golden flash, and these great wings of an owl just soar up into the air as Azazel goes up. And you all begin sprinting towards the far edge of the city. It takes about 10 minutes at a full sprint to get there, and then up the wooden stairs to the top of the ramparts, and you look out and you see 6 figures. I had to double check there. 6 figures rapidly approaching. 7 figures, in fact, rapidly approaching. I knew I'd missed one there. 7 figures rapidly approaching. At the front, a blue-scaled dragonborn.
What?
Who looks uncannily familiar. But rather than robes, rather than a hammer and shield, there is a great sword slung across their back.
It's the Cooper.
Dragonborn.
Oh.
Flanking the Dragonborn, there is a gnome with a staff, a very long beard, very pristine-looking robes. On the other side, a small goblin who runs in a sort of staggered motion, with what looks like a scythe slung across their back. At the back, there are two figures. One, a tiefling with these horns that curl up, and as they run, you can see what looks like fungal growths growing out from behind them. And next to them, a very, very familiar figure, as the hooves sprint across the plain. You see the figure of Mephisto. And there in the middle of the party, black armour, the purple tinge, flowing auburn hair. Even from here you can see the glow of the purple eyes as Thailania Witchwood runs in the middle of this party, next to the very familiar dark-skinned headband, quarterstaff, leather armour of Johannes as they approach the city. And that right there is where we're going to leave it for this
There
week.
were the motherfuckers.
Bastard.
There were the motherfuckers.
Knew that was going to happen.
So thank you very much. That's been one hell of an RP episode. I'm going to be totally honest. We were meant to send Kirikov right at the beginning, but fuck it. It worked. So that's awesome. Yes, we are, as you can probably guess now, rapidly approaching some form of final conflict. And I know I've said it for weeks, but it finally feels to me like we're making plans to make that final step. So don't miss out. There will be another episode next week, of course. My only warning, I say warning, I'm actually going to sort of call it out as something different. In just over a month's time, so early November the 7th, there will be a special one-shot episode of Malt and Magic because I will not be here. So Samau is going to step into the DM's chair, and you'll get a special one-shot, whether it's D&D, whether it's something else. We have yet to decide, but we will release more details as that comes out. But yes, thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you've enjoyed that episode very much. Obviously, lots of lore in there, lots of different things coming out, some emotional moments. But yes, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. Hopefully the players have enjoyed themselves too. They are awesome. I thank you all so much. And I think that's it for tonight. So stay safe. We love you all. Thank you all for the support. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all of that on YouTube. Hit the bell. Go follow us on the podcast. But until next time, we wish you all the very best for the week ahead, and we will see you next Monday. Same time, same place. See you then.